Good day, guys. My name is Mita Kokong, your financial literacy educator, founder and director of New Ground Financial Literacy. I'm also a mother of two lovely children and a wife to my lovely husband. A beautiful weekend to you, and I hope you guys are doing very well and you're still making good financial decisions. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the effects of my money trauma today. So, how did my money trauma that I shared with you guys a couple of weeks ago, how does it affect me today? So this is very real for me because I came to this realization when I was actually sharing my money story with you guys. It popped up in my mind, and I think God was trying to help me to face this truth about me, that I cannot be helping people if myself I have not healed. So just to share a bit of a background and take you back to my money stories, that I was sharing about how I took out credit as a result of my low self-esteem, as a result of how I saw someone else as much more confident, much more opinionated, bigger and larger than life, and I wanted to be them. And I saw them as that person because they had money. Not that I knew something else about them. They were a colleague, a friend, but not a very close friend, and we traveled together to work. We lived in the same area and worked the same company. But I looked at her from the context of that she had money, therefore that is where her confidence is derived from. That is why people love her, because I know people loved her. They enjoyed having conversations with her. People loved to confide in her. And when I looked at myself, she was a much better person than me. Therefore, for me to become like her, I needed to have money like her. So that is when I took out credit that I didn't necessarily need, but I thought it was an escape for me to have the same confidence, to be as opinionated, as bold, and as confident as she was. And then I ended up in a debt spiral because the intention of taking the debt was wrong. So today I want to talk to you about how has this moment in my life affected my relationship with money today. So apart from being a money coach and a financial literacy educator and a mom, I also have a 9 to 5 job where I earn an income. And because I'm an advocate of financial literacy, I also do my budgeting, and I make sure that I keep to my budget by covering all the expenses that I've written down for the month. And after I've paid every one of my expenses and covered them, I always make sure that I've got a surplus, and that is money that is left for me to actually cover any expenses that I might have, so a surplus for me is very important, because then that is how I measure or gauge if I'm living above my means or beyond my means. So budgeting is a very important tool that I use to help me identify that. So now the thing is, having a surplus in my bank account, I didn't know this. I realized it only recently, that I love having a surplus amount in my income, because it gives me confidence, because it helps me to be bold. It helps me to have an opinion. It makes me feel like I belong. And the reason I said that is because the moment that balance starts going down, and the moment that balance starts dropping, then my confidence also goes down. Then my sense of security also goes down. Then I panic. Then I am anxious, because I feel like the wall that protects me is no longer there. So that is where the money trauma comes in. I am responding that way to lack of money in my bank account as a result of that trauma, because I used money as something that I held on to as an identity. When it's not there, I don't feel like I have an identity. I don't feel secure. So therefore I start being anxious, because then my security is no longer there. I feel like I'm open for firing, and people now can see the true me. People can see the true me if I don't have money, and that brings frustration and panic and anxiety for me. So that is the current issue that I have identified with myself, and it's all as a result of that moment in my life where I used money as a tool that gets me into the right circles, that gives me security, and that helps me to be bold and be opinionated. So it was a key for me to actually stand out in a crowd. I didn't feel small when I had money, because my bank balance spoke for me. It fueled my confidence. So that is a very dangerous space to be in. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having money in your bank account, but if having your money in your bank account or that surplus is rooted in finding security in it, then you are in trouble, because then without that bank balance, who are you? If it's not there, who are you? If you don't have that job tomorrow, who are you? So We cannot find our security from money. We cannot hoard money, because originally money was meant as a means to exchange. It is a tool that helps us to get the things that we need. So if I hoard it, then what happens? Who am I? So therefore, number one thing, one way that it affects me is that this is money I can use to accumulate with. This is money I can use to actually make me more money. But I don't do that. I would rather keep it in my bank account. So that is one problem. Number two, cash in your hands or in your bank account loses value. You would rather have money in a form of assets, like buying shares or stocks, or in investing it. So if you keep it as cash in your bank account, what it buys for you today might not be able to buy the same thing tomorrow, because the rand value keeps on going up and down, and we've all experienced that. So those are the two disadvantages of what I'm actually doing to myself. Who create a wealth for myself and also for generations to come in my family and in my lineage. So it's important that I take care of this money trauma, that I now that I have identified where it comes from, there are steps that I need to take to heal from this, so that my relationship with money becomes different. So that is how it has affected me today. And I'm talking about a real thing. The moment my surplus money goes, like the balance that's going down, there is a sense of insecurity that comes up in me, a sense of fear, and I know this because it happens to me on a monthly basis, and I try to fight it, but I've been failing because I've never dealt with the root cause. And the root cause is that moment. It's that time in my life where I took money as a refuge instead of having to love who I was at the time, and embraced who I was, and allowed people to see me as who I am, instead of hiding behind money. Because most of us actually do that. We don't want people to know us because we don't think who we are is good enough. We would rather take identities and want to become them, and then in that way we would feel good because we think those people are better, and we don't want anyone to know us and to see us. So that is what money is, and I didn't know what an effect that it has on me now. How I treat it now is as a result of that money trauma. I'm not saying that is the only moment, but that is the moment that I have identified so far, that I am going to now start the process of healing from. On my next video, I'm going to be sharing with you the steps I took to heal from this money trauma, so that I can be the person that I am meant to be, so that I can walk in the red carpet that God has laid down for me, confidently knowing that I am healing and I'm a work in process. So guys, I hope this helps someone to look deep into themselves, to look back not as a way of regretting, but to look back as a way of facing the things that are still affecting us today. Money trauma is real, and if we don't deal with it, our relationship with money today will always be toxic. It will always be ineffective. We can implement all the strategies that we can implement, but if we don't deal with the root cause, then we are not going anywhere. So on my next video, I'll be sharing on how to heal from these money traumas. What steps have I taken that have helped me? And I hope that even as I speak to you right now, that you are also going back, boldly looking at the things that have affected you even to this day. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the love. Continue to share the page, continue to like and subscribe, and share the content with other people. My name is Meeta Kokong, your financial literacy educator, founder and director of New Ground Financial Literacy, and I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children and a loving husband, and I pray that this content really changes your life. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day. Goodbye.